We got there. Karim, I'm saying it right. Karim?
Absolutely.
All right, Karim from Emeco. Important partner for us.
Thank you.
Welcome to Travel. They're all yours, sir, and we'll start the time.
Thank you so much. My name is Karim in Minabawy. You have to just drop in Minabawy. For 28 years, my wife cannot pronounce it, so Karim is fine. So we're here just to give a glimpse on what Egypt can offer and what's the novelty actually Egypt is offering. So this is actually a quick map that shows the most important touristic site that you need to visit while in Egypt. You can see from the north is the Mediterranean, from our east the Red Sea, and then from across the country is the Nile River that's actually across the country from south to north. Starting with Cairo, which is actually the capital. That's a quick slide that actually shows how is actually the city is a little bit split, because there are actually 3 zones that you can actually stay in while in Cairo, and each one has its own hotel. So there is the Heliopolis area where you can see the plane to your right side up. That's the one closest to Cairo International Airport, and then there is the downtown one in the middle. And then if you go to the south part of the screen, this is the Pyramids area. So you can actually stay. Normally the hotels that we use next to the airport we use it while you are connecting. We just have, by the way, inaugurated the Ward of Astoria close to the airport. There are many very nice hotels that we use them again. If you're just connecting, coming from international, going next day morning to your domestic flight, or coming from domestic, going next morning to international. So this is actually why you can stay close to the airport. Otherwise, the downtown and Giza area next to the pyramids are the 2 spots that you can actually normally stay. It has to be mentioned that Cairo has 2 icons. It's the Nile and the pyramids. So you either stay in this side or that side. So those are the most 2 important parts. Most of the downtown hotels are actually by the Nile. Not all of them have Nile. Not all the rooms, of course, have Nile view, but at least the hotel itself is by the Nile. You can always upgrade your accommodation to get a Nile view. And then the pyramids area has less number of hotels, of course, compared to downtown, but the privilege is that you are close to the pyramids of Giza. Now, these are the must-see while you are in Cairo. So, of course, you can't miss the Pyramid Sphinx, Saqqara Pyramids, which is half an hour away, and this is the first pyramids ever built actually in Egypt, and out of which they got the idea of building the Great Pyramids. There is, of course, the Egyptian Museum, the famous Egyptian Museum in Tahrir Square. There is the Citadel, but now there is the big new museum, which is still not the Grand Museum, which is called the National Museum of Egyptian Civilization. This was actually inaugurated nearly 2 years ago, and it gives the history of Egypt since even before the pharaohs. So it takes you all along the history until modern Egypt. It's beautiful. This is where we have actually moved our mummies from the Egyptian Museum heading to this place. The way the mummies are exhibited there are stunning. So it's a beautiful museum that actually gives you the history of Egypt since the start of Egypt as a country. Now, there is also the Citadel that represents the modern Egypt that was built by the Ottoman, and then Khan Khalili Bazaar, which is a copy of, for those of you who know a little bit, the Grand Bazaar in Turkey, but the difference is this has no ceiling because we don't have rain. So it's more or less the same, and it gives you how actually the Ottoman used to commercialize and make business during this time. This is where you can buy lots of stuff as well if you need to. Now, in addition to the must-see, there is many other things that you can actually top your main must-see to it. I mean, the Mu'izz Street that you can see to the left, that's actually a road that will take you, it's a beautiful road that has been recently renovated by the Ministry of Antiquities and Culture, that takes you all along to Khan Khalili actually Bazaar. So it's an addition if you want to visit Khan Khalili Bazaar alone, or if you actually get into this gate where you can see in the middle, because Cairo is actually surrounded by a a wall which has 7 gates, and this is one of them. You get into this gate, you walk all around, you explore all this part of the culture of Egypt back to 15 and 1400, and you arrive to Khan Khalili Square. There is also, of course, the old Cairo, whereby it's a beautiful intro to the most beautiful church we have, the Hanging Church, and Ben Ezra Synagogue, and also one of our most beautiful mosques. So it's a combination of the 3 religions at the time. Now, getting into Luxor. Luxor is an open-air museum, and in fact, it has two. The must-see is the East Bank and the West Bank. The East Bank, this is where pharaohs used to live, so this is where their houses, their temples, which is mosques, churches, whatever it is. So this is where they used to live, and the West, this is where they used to bury their dead. So it's like, that's why they call it the Dead City to your right, to the west side, and the east side, this is the temple. So to see the east side is the Karnak temple, Luxor temple that you can't miss, and then you cross the Nile in another half day and you see the Valley of the Kings, Valley of the Queens. There are also, of course, other things to do, but this is the must-see. Now, to top your visit in Luxor, try not to miss the balloon trip, which is a beautiful add-on whereby it introduced you the whole of Luxor from the sky. And this is what I mean. I told you Luxor is an open-air museum. So you see it from upstate, it's sunny. There is also a Luxor Museum. Now, going to the south, again, Aswan. Aswan, I would call it actually Venice of Africa. It's a beautiful romantic place. I've actually organized more than 25 proposals from people coming from all around the world, from my friends, Australia included, Canada, whatever it is. So it's beautiful, it's very romantic day and night. 2 must-see there is the Philae Temple, which is a Biblo temple, beautiful, and of course the unfinished obelisk and the high dam you see there. Then again, to top up your visits, if you have a little bit more of time, Nubian village, which is a stunning village, completely different in decoration and colors, found that represent the Nubia culture, and of course the Kalabsha temple and the Nubian museum. Now, the Nile cruise is actually the idea of, if you don't want to do the overland, this is a much common way to explore Luxor and Aswan, is to board a Nile cruise that will take you from Luxor to Aswan or vice versa. That's a trip that can last for either 3 nights, 4 nights, 6 nights, and sometimes 7 nights. It's very important to remind you that our Nile cruise are not like the Caribbean cruise. We don't have 2 million cabins and 600 helipads and 1 trillion pools. I mean, it's only 1 pool, it's only 1 jacuzzi. We have dimension that we have to actually take care of and not to exceed, because there are locks and bridges to cross. So we have a certain dimension that we cannot exceed. That's why, I mean, these are the size. I mean, normally cruises will not exceed more than 65 cabins at most. It's all for board, of course. That's the new invention of actually cruising the Nile. I would call this sailing on the Nile, and this is the way Thomas Cook and the all travelers to Egypt have explored the Nile. They had no engine, so it's like a sailing boat. It's only using sailing. It has anything between 6 to 8 to 10 cabins. No engine, as I said, and in case there is no wind for the sail to push the boat, there is a tugboat with a wire of 15 meters. The idea here that it's vibration free. I mean, you need to be outside the boat to realize that you're actually moving. And that's what we call sailing on the Nile, not cruising on the Nile. It's a beautiful experience, that also beautiful for groups to be bound, for families, for people who really need to be alone. But also, you don't need to charter. You can always just reserve 1 or 2 cabins. I would say it's a deluxe. It's not a luxury. Some of them are luxury, but it's a very nice and different way to explore the Nile. Also, there is the Lake Nasser cruise, which is behind the dam, and that takes you between Aswan to Abu Simbel, and that's a way actually to see also Abu Simbel. It's either 3-night or 4-night cruise. Now, extension, I would say the top of my priority for extension is Alexandria. This is actually where Alexander the Great invaded Egypt thousands of years ago, and it actually introduced a beautiful combination of the Greek art and Greek culture mixed with the pharaonic culture. Then later on has been Alexandria was invaded by the Romans. So again, it's a beautiful mix that shows the melt of the Roman culture to the pharaonic culture. This you wouldn't see anywhere in the whole world, neither in Greece nor in Rome. nor in Egypt elsewhere. It's only in Alexandria, and it's only 60 kilometers away from Alamein, the Second World War spot that also have the graves of many of the foreigners that were actually there. Now, this is what you would see in Alexandria. It's the Library of Alexandria, it's the Roman amphitheater, it's the catacombs, it's the pompous pillar. Of course, the Library of Alexandria, this is actually a rebuilding building that was previously built by Alexander the Great and demolished later on by the Roman. Then at the same spot has been rebuilt in our modern life. It's a stunning location, stunning inside and outside architecture. Now, again, to top your visit Alexandria, there is, as I said, the Alamein Cemetery, there is the Jewelry Museum, which is a very small Topkapi. Again, if you have been to Turkey, there is the National Museum, there is the Montesa Palace that used to be a private garden by the time of the kingdom until 1952, and now it's public. But of course, you cannot miss a dinner by the sea in the evening just to show the corniche and the promenade of Alexandria. Abu Simbel is our actually most beautiful temple. It's 150 km away from Aswan. You can go there either by plane or by car, and it will take you by plane like 3 hours going, coming back, including the visit, or by car, it's a whole day. Sharm, I've combined both of them, the Red Sea, Sharm and Hurghada. Actually, it's a stunning resort, crystal clear water, lots of corals, lots of colored fish. You don't need to dive in order to see them all. You can use your bow tie on top of your safari boat, and you can still enjoy the whole thing. The only thing that would really differ between the resort of Sharm el-Sheikh and Hurghada of the Red Sea we have, and any other resort you would go, it's a combination between desert, mountain, and sea. You're only from the sea, you're only 10 minutes away from the mountains, you're actually another 5 minutes away from the desert, purely the Sahara Desert. If I take you there directly, you wouldn't believe me, you're 6 hours close to a drop of water, and you're only 15 minutes away from the corals and the colored fish. Again, sound and light is the last thing that I will show you here. Sound and light, we have five sound and light shows in Egypt, in the pyramids, in Luxor, in Aswan, in Edfu, and in Abu Simbel. And that, of course, you can do it in the evening and gives you the story of the temple where the sound and light show takes place. So I hope I was not too much rushing. I know that the $1 million question is the gem. Nobody knows when, but I can promise you it shouldn't be longer than the first quarter of 2024. Thank you so much.
All right.